What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Crunch Time on a Sunday afternoon or late morning here in the DFS world. I am Britt Devine, joined by Mr. Agents of Fandom, Barbenheimer running in the streets for TJ. We've got Justin, STL Cards 84. Your Cardinals ran out. Pretty horrible lineup today, but of all, we are graced by the presence of Mr. WSOP himself, Rob. Rob, thanks for coming back to RotoGrinders finally. You took a little hiatus after your nice run there, and I just wanted to give a congrats from everyone here on the show, probably some of our viewers as well, on your nice run. It's a dream to be able to play the WSOP, let alone make it as far as you did. So congrats, man.
I mean, you think that's a dream. I was distraught that I couldn't produce Crunch Time on Saturdays and Sundays. I was sitting at the table on day 5 like I should be doing RotoGrinders Crunch Time right now. And but it was a lot of fun, and thank you.
Did you have a moment at any point, like before the cash line, where you were almost out or should have been out? I mean, I know most of the time when you posted your chip counts, you were in pretty good shape, but did you have a lull in there, or an all in that you had to survive, or something that you remember?
No, the weird thing is the first 4 days kind of went the way that you would write it. I finished my day 1 13th in chips for that day. And then I was always above the average stack line for the first 4 days. I was never all in until day 5. So just like sort of storybook writing, right? Like you never expect to go 4 days without being at risk. And it was just great. Nothing major, a couple weird hands here and there. One that I haven't told yet, I can tell real quick if you want. So we came back from break right after the money bubble burst. Like after we got that first break, the woman who was in the big blind was running through the room, and they had just announced not to run. So they gave her a 3-hand penalty, and I was the button, and it folded around to me. Sorry. The guy under the gun limped in, another guy limped in, folds around to me. I have king jack of spades. So obviously the big blind's dead because she's on, penalty. I raise with king jack of spades. I flop 9 high flop the flush draw. Guy checks, I bet, he shoves, I end up calling, and we stack him for a large amount of chips in that hand. And it kind of became textbook the way it played afterwards, but because she was not in her seat, I think that hand played a lot differently than it would have otherwise. So that was kind of a weird moment, but we got a lot of chips in that hand.
You'd think, at least from my perspective, there's all this money on the line. People would care about being on time and all this stuff, but no one really cares about any of that for the most part.
Yeah, no one cares about being on time, but there's also, like, at that point in time, there's still a lot of congestion in the hall trying to get in and out of that place. So until we got to like another 2 levels in, it was like not always easy to get in and out of the horseshoe.
All right, Rob. Well, again, congrats. The YouTube, they want the Spidey bomb, so we're going to toss you aside, get the graphics ready. We'll get some of those going. Let's talk some baseball. Justin, let's talk pitching here first. And it's Jesus Luzardo, and it's everybody else. I think that's pretty much what your article had. That was my thoughts. That's what the bat has. I think that's pretty much everyone's going into this today. Is there any reason for your cash games, both FanDuel and DraftKings, that I have this guy as your top priority?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you look at the Marlins are huge favorites. They still haven't won a game since the All-Star break. So, I mean, it's time for your top-tier pitching against a bad offense that can't hit away from Coors Field to show up. His strikeout prop is 7.5. The Rockies have a 2.8 run total. And, you look at the other high-end guys. Aaron Nola is always better at home. He's facing a low strikeout team. So, Ober, I think, is fine, but he's a little bit overpriced now, and his metrics, his advanced stuff is a little uninspiring. Giolito, good strikeout matchup, but you never know what you're going to get from him. Tyler Wells is kind of pricey now, and then you're basically down into the middle tier. So, I mean, Luzardo is the top spend-up option by a wide margin, and he's going to be massive chalk because there's not much value to choose from a pitcher either. I mean, I think you can make a case to just lock him in today and then build the rest of your lineup from there. So that's probably going to have me underweight on somebody like Atlanta today, just because, there is a salary cap, and if you're playing Luzardo, you're probably not getting all the Braves in there. But the pitching is just so bad that I think you got to take that guaranteed solid start today.
Yeah, on DraftKings, they force us to play 2. Who is the SP2? Who's in consideration for that? Is it a cheap guy? Is it one of the other expensive guys? What's the overall strategy?
Yeah, I don't have a great answer here. I've kind of mixed and matched. I mean, I think Jordan Montgomery is fine, but he doesn't have a huge ceiling. Bryce Elder doesn't really have a ceiling. Taj Bradley has a pretty uncomfortable floor because he's not going to pitch more than 5 innings. And he's even projecting as some chalk today, which is slightly uncomfortable just because of his risk. And then you've got Severino, who is probably my choice almost by default. He's been horrible. The numbers are bad, but they're facing the Royals, who now have a record that is just as bad as Oakland's. And I mean, the Yankees are a huge home favorite. He's still projected at about 6 strikeouts today, and he's really cheap at like 7,200. And then below him, all you really have is like 4 situations that are like openers today. So we've got a lot of bullpen games, just not a lot of pitching to choose from. And so I'm kind of landing on Severino. I don't feel great about it, but it's kind of like the situation with Blackburn from last night, who ended up being okay. Carrasco from a couple nights ago, I know TJ was talking about in the Discord. So it's not comfortable down there. So I might as well go as cheap as you can go. And Severino projects just as well as some of these other underwhelming guys we have today.
All right, let's get to Mr. Spidey Bomb himself. TJ, you want to start off with some Spidey Bombs? They've hit the like in anticipation up to 54. You want to talk some pitching first?
I love it that they're ready, so I'm not going to keep them waiting. We'll go first one at 50, which we've already hit. We'll drop a second one at 75, a third one at 100. So keep hitting those like buttons. We'll maybe skip the music just because we still got to get through this slate here. It took a little extra time at the beginning, but Spidey Bum number 1 today. We're going with an expensive bat, but he's got some really good odds to hit a home run today. Mookie Betts plus 340 on Fanduel. He's just been absolutely annihilating left-handed pitching this year. He's got a 424 ISO. Mookie Betts shouldn't be anything over plus 300 against the lefty, and so he's plus 340 on Fanduel. Spidey Bomb number 1.
I double checked the math for you. That is where his best line is currently, so I will follow you in on that. Mookie Betts at 340 against Perez sounds pretty good to me. All right,
we're at 75 already. Let's run it back right away. Let's get us up to 100. And so Spidey Bomb number 2. We are going back to our guy from yesterday who hit a Spidey Bomb plus 650 on Caesars, Jake Fraley.
I bet that. And Friedel, I think, is also very high over there too. Both of the Reds, they did not learn from the Spidey Bomb yesterday. TJ, they left the odds too high on Caesars on both of those guys. So I'm in on the Reds already over on Caesars. All right, pitching tournament perspective. First, your thoughts on Luzardo. Lock, overweight, underweight. How would you be distributing around him ownership wise?
Lock button for Luzardo on both sites. 100%. It's a good matchup. It's a great pitcher. He projects for so much better than anybody else on the slate. I'm not going to be messing around. I'm just going to hit 100% Luzardo.
All right. If someone didn't want that risk profile today, where else could they go to from a tournament side? At least on DraftKings, you got to play 2 of them. So who else would be in the lineups?
Yeah. So in terms of SP2s, I'm basically looking to X button on Severino in tournaments. That's not going to be for me today. Picking up some ownership. I think it's very interesting going to a guy like a double pay up to Aaron Nola and finding some cheap bats today. I think Bailey Ober's in play. Montgomery's in play. Mackenzie Gore would probably be my favorite cash game SP2 if I was trying to find one. I'd be going with Gore, I think, or Bradley. I do still really like both of them for tournaments, but I think we can also go a little bit cheaper, and Jameson Taillon can be a very nice SP2 today.
All right. Anyone? So no Severino. He's going to be popular. Why not him? He just too high owned. I think he's probably going to be the second most popular pitcher to me on DraftKings today behind Luzardo.
What was that? Sorry, I was answering a question in chat because I saw like a couple people were talking about our Chrome extension not working.
Yep.
I believe I saw that people talking about that in the Discord, that it's currently being worked on.
Yep. Everyone's always well aware of when things are a little broken behind the scenes here. But I want to ask you on Severino. I'm going to press you on this. Why no Severino? He's going to be the second most popular pitcher in my opinion today.
He's been horrible. He's terrible. I'm not playing.
Justin, that was basically your thought too, but it's a salary game.
It's the Royals are also terrible. So what happens when two terrible things collide? Nobody really
I'm playing
knows.
the Royals.
Oppenheimer happens.
Yeah.
Because
Speaking
I
of,
want
like
to get to
this opening weekend
bats.
has been the fourth highest box office opening in movie history.
TJ, have you seen either one yet?
I've seen Barbie. I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet.
I was going to ask you which one would you see first, and then maybe next week we'll get you. What's your take? What was your take on Barbie?
It didn't. Some parts of it didn't like resonate with me as much as it does other people, but I also feel like it wasn't necessarily geared towards me. But it was hilarious. It was really, really good.
This is another area I do, but the Mattel stock has been on fire this year because of the Barbie movie. So let's go Barbie, in my opinion, for me.
It's going to end up being one of the biggest movies of all time. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. All right, let's go to offense. I guess, TJ, I'll stick with you on this one from the tournament perspective. We got to condense a little time. We've been off topic. Where are we going for offense today? If we're playing Luzardo, Justin said he's going to be a little light on Atlanta because he is expensive. What are you replacing them with in your Luzardo stack? Specifically, if you're not using Severino, you're going to have to, you're going to be restricted on salary on DraftKings today.
I mean, yes and no, because I'm not using Severino, but I am still interested in using Gore, Bradley, as well as Jameson Taillon, who's cheaper than all of them. And so I do still really like Atlanta today. I'm planning on getting to them probably as my favorite stack. Arizona and Cincinnati, love both of them. And then the Dodgers are going to be the fourth team on my list. Those are the main ones I'm going to be targeting. And then to find some cheap bats, which I talked about, if I'm X-buttoning Severino, it's because I really like Kansas City today. They're picking up next to no ownership. And I'm just going to play some of these cheap bats like Michael Massey at second base, batting fifth. Michael Garcia batting first. Salvador Perez and Bobby Witt still are below 5K on DraftKings. So a team like Kansas City is going to be where I'm going, where I'm looking to get nice and cheap. A team like Washington, I really like as a cheap stack today. Some Candelario, some Thomas, some Meneses, some Abrams, maybe even mixing in some Riley Adams or Stone Garrett. Like, I just really like this team today as well, and they're super cheap. So there are some offenses that I really don't mind mixing in and mixing in either as a full stack or as a mini stack to get cheap with.
All right, and then cards, more from a cash game perspective. I'm going to give you 20 seconds. Give me a couple of teams we're going to be targeting in general today.
Arizona would be one. Luke Weaver coming off of injury, got hit in the elbow in his last start. Obviously worry about any ill effects there. Plus, we know they're a team that can run. The total in that game is 11 now, so definitely expect some offense there. And I agree with TJ's take on Washington for some cheap offense today.
All right, let's go position by position. Catcher cards, cash games. To me, looks like I'm saving on DraftKings today. Again, I'm playing Luzardo. I'm prioritizing Acuna too. He gets 15 points every game. I don't care what he costs. I'm going to keep throwing him in there. So I got to go cheap at someplace. Catcher looks good to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot of excitement at this position today. You got quite a few guys getting the day off. Will Smith's not in the lineup, so he would be the one high-end guy I would have liked to prioritize, but he's not playing. So I don't think you need to prioritize Real Muto or William Contreras by any means. Darno is fine, but I don't mind going cheaper here. Carson Kelly in your Arizona lineups is fine, and even Herrera for the Cardinals he's up to 6 today. And he's hit well in the minors all year. He's hit well in a limited sample with the Cardinals. So if you want to go to 2,800 on DK for a catcher hitting 6th, I think he's absolutely fine as well.
All right, TJ, before we get to catcher, I want to remind the people we need 4 likes to get to 100. Keep those like buttons smashed. We need more Spidey bombs. I also want to remind everybody it's just 50 days until the start of the NFL season. You can check out Spike Week, everything you need to stay ahead of the best ball game. Rob's on there too, so you get to hang out with Rob doing some stuff over there, as well as the shows. There's Draft IQ tools that show you your exposure across all your drafts, projected ownership in best ball contests, and tons more. You can get 40% off your monthly or seasonal with coupon code RG23 at the checkout page. That's spikeweek.com. Go check it out and hang out in the best ball streets. All right, catcher, TJ, what are you looking at?
Yeah, catcher for me today, I really like the Carson Kelly call. I think he's got some decent home run odds today that I don't mind going for either on Caesars. Caesars seems to be the one place that entire game has some pretty strong odds today, including the next Spidey bomb, which is Ketel Marte. Over at Caesars, he is plus 380 to hit a home run today. I like Kelly's odds, I like Gurriel's odds, and I like Marte's odds over there as well. So Caesars seems to be the place to go for that game. If we'll get one more Spidey bomb at 125 likes. And so keep that popping. And then at catcher today, yeah, I really like the Carson Kelly call. He'd be my favorite to go to. I didn't mention Texas in my stacks, but I don't mind some of those guys today, especially without Seager. It makes that lineup worse. It also makes them cheaper. And so that's a high upside stack that doesn't cost much money. And I really like Jonah Heim batting fifth today. Travis d'Arnaud batting fifth, I'm very interested in. And then if I need a full out punt that's not named Carson Kelly, I think my favorite would probably be Ryan Jeffers.
All right. I want to note too, if you don't have Caesars, I think they're in most states, DraftKings 370, so not too far behind the 380 that Caesars was offering on that one. All right, first base cards. I would like to roster Matt Olson against Julio Teheran, but unfortunately they do restrict the salary on both, pretty much all of the DFS sites. So I have cheaper Matt Olson and Christian Walker today against Weaver. Pretty much any Arizona bat I can get into my lineups today. This is the same thing we were doing yesterday with the Reds in Arizona. We're going back to it today. I think I prefer Arizona pretty heavily over Cincinnati. As much as I still like Cincinnati, Arizona is definitely the team for me today.
Yeah, I'm on that train today as well, so no problem there. I really like the matchup for Olsen. If you can get there, I think it's absolutely fine. To me, you're either spending all the way up for one of those guys that you just mentioned, or Freeman, or you're going all the way down to like a Wilmer Flores, who's really cheap, and a little less pinch hit risk there with him. They tend to pinch hit for guys like Slater a little bit more than Flores. Flores has been starting more often against righties now too, so I'm not super worried about the pinch hit risk with Flores. He's a nice value today. Kirilloff is still really cheap on DraftKings if you want to go there. Nate Lowe, if you absolutely need a guy in the mid-range. Encarnacion Strand for Cincinnati, another potential punt option, even though he's hitting seventh. Prospect with some upside and a high total game. I mean, you can certainly put him in your stacks. So that's first base for me.
TJ, tournaments, how are you handling that?
Matt Olson, definitely my favorite guy. My priority spend up today with Christian Walker following closely behind him here at this first base position. Wilmer Flores, very strong play today, but I think my favorite for tournaments is probably going to be Nate Lowe, $3,800 on DraftKings, nice and cheap. Kirilloff's fine as well, and that's kind of probably like the extent of where I'm looking to go here.
All right, on Fanduel, you got Jake Bauers, 2,400. I think he's outfield only on DraftKings. Yes, you're probably going to want to mix him in. Possibly on DraftKings, I think in the outfield he's a strong play, but I don't absolutely hate it at first base on Fanduel either. All right, let's go to second cards. What's shaking over there?
So I'm obviously with you guys that I like Arizona today, so you can absolutely go to Ketel Marte or Matt McLean in that game. And to me, it's a pretty narrow pool of second base today. It's a fairly weak position. And you can't spend everywhere. If you're spending on Luzardo, if you're spending on one of Acuna or Olsen, if you're spending on Corbin Carroll, like the salary cap has to come into play at some point. And that is why I think Donovan's probably one of the best value plays on the slate. He's leading off. He's got a weighted on base of like 430 or something over the last month. He's just been hitting the ball really, really hard, and he hasn't been playing every day because he can't throw right now. So he's just been DHing. But obviously that's fine for DFS, and he's still, I think DraftKings has raised him like $200 and FanDuel's raised him like $300 over the last 30 days. So give me Donovan as a punt here if you can't get up to McLean or Marte or Albies.
You want Donovan over Torres on FanDuel? I think you save $100.
I am. I mean, I just Donovan's batted ball profile is so much better this year that I don't have a strong take. I mean, the Yankees are projected to score a lot of runs too, but that offense has been so bad that I'm not on them a whole lot.
Jordan Lyles in Yankee Stadium will do that for you. So we'll see how that plays
True.
out. All right, TJ, second base. Where can we look for some dingers?
I don't have much to add on top of what Cards already did. Like, if I'm spending up, obviously I love Ketel Marte as well as Mookie Betts, 2 Spidey bombs today. If I'm going cheap, Brendan Donovan I definitely think is the optimal play. But for tournaments, if you need to pivot, I don't mind a little Tyler Freeman today batting second. And then probably my favorite tournament pivot today is Michael Massey batting 5th today against Severino.
Yeah, Massey is on FanDuel specifically plus 600 for a home run, and he's like plus 400 everywhere else. So if you're looking for a home run, Massey, really good odds on FanDuel. Speaking of FanDuel, they are the sponsor of the show. Thank you to them. If you are new to a sports betting state, you probably have a FanDuel account, but if you don't, you can bet $5 and get $100 in bonus bets. Check the terms and conditions on that, but thank you to FanDuel for sponsoring the show. The hot corner third base cards. I don't know. If you want Arizona, you got Longoria. He's reasonably priced on both sites. His home run odds are, I was looking for a Longo home run today. Thought I might get like a 450 or a 500. It's like 300. They're expecting him to have some decent power today. Do you like him, or there's an Austin Riley? I heard he's pretty good. He might be on a hot streak. How are you spending at third base?
Yeah, I know I love Arizona as much as the next guy today, but do not bet Evan Longoria at plus 300 to hit a home run.
Yeah.
In the year 2023. Just don't do that. But, I mean, I'm not trying to say you can't play him either because he's cheap. It's fine. But you got Chris Taylor there as well, who's hitting cleanup for the Dodgers in kind of that same price range. He's 2,800 on FanDuel. He's 3,100 on DK. He's third base eligible on both sides. So there's some pinch hit risk there, but I don't mind Chris Taylor. Riley would be my favorite spend. I think Spencer Steer is okay in the mid range also. That's about it. Not as deep at third as usual today.
Yeah, the high outside of Riley, I'm not in love with the expensive names today. TJ, you got anyone at third base?
Let's just keep playing the guy who's hitting home runs every day, especially when he's not picking up all that much ownership today. I think Riley's one of the top spend ups on the slate. Don't mind Gunnar Henderson leading off for tournaments. I think he's very interesting. A little bit of Max Muncy. I really like Heimer Candelario as a tournament savings option as a pivot off of Longoria. And then you have Chris Taylor batting cleanup today as well on DraftKings, where he's now third base eligible.
All right, Cards. I'm interested to see where you come at shortstop, because there's not really anyone that I specifically am targeting in general today. I've got this is the last spot. I've got it open on both of my cash teams right now. I'm going to have to fill this in the next couple of minutes. What should I be looking at here? Because there's nothing specifically that stands out to me.
Yeah, I actually have a take here. If you want a player that is hitting 375 with a 420 on base and a 1.045 OPS this month with 10 stolen bases in his last 12 games since being moved to the leadoff spot, and he's still $3,300 on DraftKings and $2,900 on FanDuel. I have no idea why more people aren't talking about CJ Abrams. I mean, he's finally putting it all together at the big league level. The numbers have just been fantastic since they stopped hitting him ninth. And, the Giants are starting a lefty today, but Alexander's probably only going to pitch a few innings. Last I read, DeSclafani is supposed to pitch most of the game for San Francisco today, and he has always struggled against left-handed hitters. So at another position that's, kind of tough to fill, you don't have all the salary to spend at every position. I mean, give me Abrams at that salary that's probably still like $700 or $800 too cheap. The guy's been on fire, and not enough people are talking about him. So I'll spend my entire shortstop discussion talking about Abrams.
All right. On FanDuel too, would you, or on DraftKings, if you had to delve to the deep depths of a Brad Miller to make everything else in your lineup work today, cards, is that worth it?
I don't think that's horrible. I'd rather go for a 2K. Like there's quite a few guys right at 2K in the outfield that I prefer going to, but yeah, it's not horrible if it makes your lineup work. But I really like Abrams.
We'll see. I did have Abrams on FanDuel. I'm tinkering around on DraftKings right now. TJ, shortstop. You got anything else for us?
I am all aboard that Abrams train as well. They just refuse to raise his price, and he's been kind of consistently, I think, the best play at that position almost every day now. I love Bobby Witt for tournaments, love Matt McClain, and then Perdomo and Henderson I find totally fine as well. But for his price, Abrams would be the guy I'm looking to go to.
All right. Let's go to the outfield cards, and let's maybe split these up between, I don't know, you want to do different sites? Because I think it's a little different. Let's do FanDuel first, because you're going to not have some of the value names you're going to get on DraftKings today that I think you might need. So how are you handling FanDuel in the outfield?
Yeah, that I got to get back over there. I had DraftKings on my, but the DraftKings, the 2K salary floor makes a little bit more difference on DK because you get a wider net for that salary range. So it's maybe not as necessary to go to the bottom of the barrel on FanDuel. And like you mentioned, you don't have a lot of those guys, basically Canzone and Wallner are really the only guys right at that minimum on FanDuel. But the guy that's different between the sites is Tyler O'Neill. He's hitting cleanup today because Goldschmidt's not playing. He's 2,300 on FanDuel. Yep. That's just, too cheap for a guy that's got his pop against a pitcher that's really struggled. Billy McKinney is 2,400 as well. So, but O'Neill would be the one guy, maybe Jankowski as well. There's still some names under 3K on FanDuel, but O'Neill isn't nearly as cheap on DraftKings. If you move it over to DK, you've got the values like you've got Frelick for the Brewers who got called up yesterday.
Yeah. I'm going to interrupt you because I want to ask you rank. Bowers is what, 2,400. You've got Canzone, you've got Frelick, you've got Wallner, you've got McKinney. Rank some of these cheap bats on DraftKings.
Yeah, the pinch hit risk worries me a little bit with Bowers. I think in GPPs I'd rank him higher. I probably would play McKinney before him in cash games. Frelick would be number one just because I've been waiting for the regression for Elder for months now. It finally came in his last start. The Brewers have finally decided that Jesse Winker is not a cleanup hitter. It only took a few months. But Frelick hitting cleanup, I think, is my preferred option. Wallner would be more of a GPP play. And then probably Canzone after that.
All right. And then priorities to me would be Acuna, Corbin, Carroll, and Stanton on the high end. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, Carroll is the one I am trying to prioritize. Obviously, you can't argue with what you said earlier. Acuna gets 15 points every day, so just play him. I like the matchup for Carroll. He's, got that power speed combo. Arizona's projecting for a lot of runs, so I'm going Carroll over Acuna slightly today. But yes, otherwise, I pretty much agree with those thoughts. And then the Reds guys that TJ already mentioned for home run calls, they are fine as well.
All right, TJ, real quick in the outfield, then we'll get to you guys' questions.
All right, yeah, I'm with a lot of those same guys today. I think I'd probably rank the spend ups Acuna 1, Carroll 2, with Carroll being maybe the slight edge in tournaments, and then Stanton and Schwarber as my favorite kind of mid-tier spend up guys that aren't picking up a crazy amount of ownership today. Obviously love Jake Fraley, Spidey Bomb today. Lance Thomas is another guy I love in the outfield. And then same page with a lot of the same cheap guys that Cards mentioned.
All right, let's get to some questions. SHB Ball, Frelick or Calzone, DraftKings cash. I've got Frelick in there. I wouldn't fault you for playing. It's not Calzone, is it? It's
Canzone. It's Canzone.
Yeah, Canzone. But I would play. I've got Frelick. It's very close to me. I think either one of them are perfectly viable today.
Yeah. No strong takes there either.
All right. Let's see. Get your questions in either the live chat on Discord or on YouTube. I'm checking both. Let's see here. Rails wants to know the Spidey Bombs, TJ. Recap them for the people.
Mookie Betts, Jake Fraley, and Ketel Marte, as well as throwing in a little bit of a freebie. We got a plus 800 TJ Friedel over on Caesars as well.
All right. Jerry from YouTube wants to know FanDuel cash Marte or TJ Riley. I'm playing Marte on that specific one today. Anyone against Luke Weaver, as good as some of the red bats are, gets my priorities today, cards.
Yep, no problem there.
All right. Let's see any more. I see a couple people typing in Discord. We'll get to those. Matt, want to know any weather concerns? It looked pretty safe across the land on Ross Weather Report. I'm not really concerned with any weather. Sherman in Discord wants to know FanDuel cash Stanton or Perdomo, Stanton and Perdomo, or Nootbaar and Flores cards if you had to choose between those.
I'd take the first one.
Yeah, how much is Perdomo again on FanDuel?
He's definitely a little cheaper on FanDuel, I think, than he is on DK.
Where he's 2,800. He's leading off. I think that's fine. Yeah, Stanton Perdomo definitely would be the one for me. I'm factoring all that in, no question. All right, what's going to be lower owned today? Braves or Dodgers after the Dodgers went bananas last night, TJ?
I think the Dodgers will still probably be lower than the Braves.
Yeah, I think so as well. Cards, would you agree with that? People are going to want to play the Braves.
Everyone loves picking on Tehran, and the Braves are obviously no secret at this point. So I would agree, yes.
Severino or Bradley on FanDuel if you have to pick one today, cards.
I mean, TJ and I are going to have different answers there. That he's kind of off of Severino today, though I don't know his take on Bradley. But I would just probably plug my nose and play Severino.
Bradley for me.
TJ's on Bradley. I would play Jesus Luzardo on FanDuel. That would be my choice. Just spend up and try to get different elsewhere. Let's see. Beaner in chat. FanDuel tournament. JD Martinez, Marte, or McLean for his last piece of a tournament today, TJ?
JD Martinez, Marte, or McLean. I would probably go Marte, but I really like all those options.
Yeah, I like JD. JD will definitely be lower owned than I think the other two, and that looks like a really nice spot to get a home run today for Mr. JD Martinez.
For tournaments, if it's not like a part of an Arizona stack, I think I'd probably go JD.
All right. Paul on YouTube wants to know 3 cheap Yankee outfielders to free up salary on DraftKings. I think that's costing you too much, cards, because there are some really high-powered outfielder names that you're going to want to have at least exposure to one of them.
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees just haven't shown that offensive firepower. So I know it's Jordan Lyles, but I mean, they didn't do much against Singer yesterday either, and they've disappointed against a lot of bad pitchers. So there's so much opportunity cost, as you mentioned, in the outfield that I'm fine with one of them, but I wouldn't fill my whole outfield with them.
Yeah, I'm fine with one of the cheap ones with Stanton in a tournament, but even in a tournament, I don't think I'd play 3 Yankees outfielders. There's just too much opportunity cost. Grenade wants to know from Discord, DraftKings cash Betts and Jankowski or Carroll and Donovan. I think I'm on numero 2 there, cards.
Yeah, that's an easy one for me. I love both of those guys. I love Donovan. I love Carroll today.
Yep. Let's see. Just finding more. J Sam's FanDuel tournaments. Right-handed power bats, Walker and Gurriel match up better with Weaver because he's reverse splits. I think it really literally doesn't matter against Weaver to me, cards. I would take any bat from any side against Weaver today.
Agreed.
Gore and Severino ownership over 40% on FanDuel.
Definitely not. Luzardo is going to be like 50% owned on FanDuel.
Yeah, Gore's pretty interesting. I don't hate him today as like a tournament flyer. I think the bat likes him pretty good too. And I was on the Nats yesterday. I didn't write it up, but that was a nice little underdog win. I think they can pull it out again today. I'm sure they're. I don't know what the line. They were like plus 175 yesterday. I got them. They're probably not that high today, but I would assume they're an underdog this morning. The Reds and Diamondbacks, low scoring game. So a couple of the guys came through. Basically, it was just home runs yesterday. If I gave you the over-under is probably 11 if I had to guess, cards. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, it's 11.
What if you had to pick a side? 11's high for a non-Coors baseball game. Which side would you take today?
I mean, it's tough because I've got like 6 lineups today, and 3 of them are stacks of batters from that game. Mm-hmm. But I can't bet an over on 11, so I'd probably bet the under as a hedge against my DFS lineups. But yeah, I wouldn't touch that. But I mean, to be fair, I'm generally an under better, so I look for spots where I really like the unders. But that game, it would probably be a stay away for me.
Yeah, I did not dabble in the over-under on that game today. It's just, I'm sort of with you, unless it's a Coors game seeing a total that high. I mean, it is Jared Weaver in Cincinnati. There's going to be some home runs in that game.
No, it's Luke Weaver. Jared's
Luke Weaver, I meant to say. It's just, I don't know, 11 seems high, but I wouldn't bet the over or the under, I guess would be my take on that one. Let's see. Harmon, let's cards. You're in the golf streets here. What did he win already?
He did win, and it was a very boring Sunday. He was ahead by 4 or 5 shots the whole day and won by 5. I'm sure he was very happy with that, but he won by 6. Yeah, it was a boring finish to the tournament for sure.
Nothing, no drama, no anything going on.
He won. Yeah, he won by 6. I didn't play him in any of my DFS lineups, so I just checked DraftKings. I won $8.
That's a screenshot. You won.
I did. I tweeted it about 5 minutes ago. My $8 is going to McDonald's right after the show here.
All right, TJ, you and I were butting heads. I'm on Seattle tonight against Alex Manoah. You're one of the few people. I give you a lot of respect, TJ. I don't mind dicing it up on the bad side with other hosts, but I really hate being on the wrong side of games against you. It is your Blue Jays. We'll have to see how that goes. I'm hoping Manoah is a gas can, and you think he's going to strike out these Mariners left.
You are making the logically correct decision.
I hope so. The line has moved in my favor a little bit, not as much as I thought. So we'll have to see how that goes. So that is a big bet I have out there. Cards, you got anything in the bet streets?
Seattle's also really bad, so it'll be a nice. At least their offense is.
I got Woo's at least on par with Manoah, if not, possibly like light years better based on how the season's going.
No, I did. So I didn't bet the total, but I did. I do like the Diamondbacks against the Reds. I think they win that game. They've lost the last couple of days. I'm not betting the Marlins at whatever huge minus juice they are, but I think betting them minus 1.5 is a reasonable bet as well. I just think maybe today is the day they finally get rolling and have a comfortable, 6-1 win or something like that.
All right. And then TJ, you got anything else on your little Canadian sports bet? What do they let you get in?
Yeah, so I didn't do any individual game bets or anything like that. Stuck with some home run ones today. I didn't put the Manoah strikeout one in, but I was tempted to. I just decided to stay with home runs because I found some odds I liked today. So the various combos I got in, I did them all individually, and then in all of the parlay combos that exist with these guys. But I went with Stanton plus 370, Candelario plus 660, Lance Thomas plus 650, Fraley plus 705, Marte plus 470, Matt Olson plus 325, Betts to hit at least 4 bases, 344, Ohtani at least 4 bases, 345, Bregman to hit a home run, 610, Alec Thomas to hit a home run, 790.
Did you say Stanton plus 3 something? There's no way, right? Or
plus 370, I got Stanton to hit a home run.
That's ridiculous. See, I got 285 on FanDuel. Torres was 600. Let me see. He's 560 on FanDuel right now.
So, like, oftentimes when, so places like Caesars has TJ Friedel broken. Well, TJ Friedel actually has better odds on Caesars than he does on this site, but they haven't, adjusted the juice for the amount of home runs that there's been this year on this site. And so you often see the Olsons, the Stantons, the Ohtanis at plus 250 on all of these other sites. They never get worse than plus 300. Plus 300 is the lowest that people get on this site.
All right. Well, I hope that comes through for you because I got Stanton on all my DFS teams. I think that's going to wrap it up for today. Again, congrats to Rob on his World Series of Poker run. Very jealous that you got to go and also got to play for 5 days. Made it so deep. Very jealous and congratulations.
6 days.
6 days. Oh, 6 days. Yes. Sorry about that. I can't sell you any short on that one. Cards, good luck. TJ, good luck. Everyone out there, have a good rest of your weekend. For all of them, I'm Britt. Thanks for watching, and we out you.